ألف أرنب يجري يلعب يأكل جزرا كي لا يتعب. باء بطة نطت نطة وقعت ضحكت منها القطة وقعت ضحكت منها القطة.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وسلم تسليما كثيرا ثم أما بعد. Today inshallah we're going to have a new lesson and the subject help yourself read the Quran. And today inshallah we're going to talk about the rulings of the Sukoon when the letter that comes after it is with the mark Shaddah. This is actually an introductory lesson for the topics that is included in the subject Tajweed, or the science of reading the Holy Book of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, or reading the Quran. So it is actually part of the topic Ahkam Noon Sakina, or the rulings of the Noon with Sukoon. But since we are still beginning to learn on how to read the Quran, we will just focus on the marks without going into details of the rulings of this Tajweed topics. So we will just focus whenever we see a Sukoon and there is and then the letter that comes after it is with Shaddah. So basically what we're going to do is the Sukoon will get omitted, and it will merge with the letter that comes after it, which is with Shaddah. Now to elaborate it, we're going to have examples, and we're going to have a lot of examples since it is something that we can that is too many in the Mus'haf, or in the Quran. Now I've explained to you about the Ahkam Noon Sakina in the Tajweed. There are actually 4 rulings in this regard. It is first al-Idhar, and it is with the letters that when the letter that comes after the Noon with Sukoon is from the letters of Idhar, then you just have to pronounce the letter clearly. So that's the meaning of this Idhar. So, and this is not what we're going to talk about, because it doesn't have the Shaddah. Okay, the letter that comes after the Noon Sakin, or with the Sukoon, is it doesn't have a Shaddah, and you will not find it a Shaddah, and that's already a sign that is not from this type or this letters. Now the second ruling is the al-Ikhfa. Now al-Ikhfa is to the merging of the letter. Okay, the letter with the Noon with Sukoon, or the Sukoon with the letter with Sukoon with the letter that comes after it, and this is something that we can see, and this is from the examples. And also we also have the al-Idgham, which is basically the same with waw and the mim. And also we also have the al-Iqlab, and that is the changing of the letters into another letter. Now we're going to have examples of Sukoon that is omitted before the letter that has or with the Shaddah. Now let's have some examples. Now let's say we have this word, or we have this ayah, min waraihim, min waraihim, min waraihim. So we have 2 words here, min and waraihim. Now as you can see, min ends with Noon Sakina, or Noon with the Sukoon. and the word that comes after it is wara'ihim. As you can see, waw in this letter, the first letter of wara'ihim, has shadda. So, and the noon that came before it is with sukoon. So we will just disregard the sukoon and we will merge it with the waw. So instead of saying min wara'ihim, we will say, or we will recite, or we will read min wara'ihim. Now let's have another example. Min ladun, min ladun, min ladun. As you can see, we have two words again in this ayah, or in this example. We have the words min and ladunhu. Min and ladunhu. Now we can see again here min, the last letter is noon with sukoon, and then it's followed by the word ladunhu. And lam, which is the first letter of this word, has shadda on it. So basically, we'll just have to apply the rulings of shadda. Okay, so we will again disregard the sukoon. Okay, we will omit it and we'll cancel it, and then we will read straight to the lam with shadda. So we will read it as min ladunhu, min ladunhu. Now let's have another example. Man yu'minu, man yu'minu, man yu'minu. Again, we have the words man and yu'minu. So man with noon, a sukoon, a sakin with the sukoon, and then yu'minu. As you can see, ya has shadda. Ya, which is the first letter of the word yu'minu, has shadda. So we will read it straight to the ya. Man yu'minu, man yu'minu. Now we're going to have examples of the tanween, and it is because that tanween basically has the same rulings with the noon as-sakina or the noon as-sukoon, because it is technically the same. Okay, the word ends with the sound noon with the sukoon, like an, in, and un. So let's have some examples of the words that end with tanween, where we're going to disregard, or we were going to read straight and connect it and merge it with the letter that which is the first letter of the next word, if shadda is found with it. So let's have the first example for this lesson. Ghafurur Rahim. Inna Allah Ghafurur Rahim. Inna Allah Ghafurur Rahim. Ghafurur Rahim. Ghafur, as you can see, Ghafurun. It's supposed to be Ghafurun. But since we are reading from the Quran, Ghafurun, and it ends with the tanween, Ghafurun. But as you can see, the next word is Rahim. Ghafurun, Rahim. And Rahim, okay, as you can see, is with Shadda. So we will just merge the last letter with the first letter of the next word. So we will read instead Ghafurur Rahim. Ghafurur Rahim. Now let's have another example. Andadan wa antum ta'lamun. Andadan wa antum. Andadan wa antum. Now in this example we have the word andadan, andadan, followed with harf waw. Now as you can see, waw is with shadda, although it is alone. Okay, it means that we have to merge the last letter or the last letter of the previous word or the word that came before it, so which is the word andadan wa. Andadan wa. So instead of saying or reading andadan wa, we say andadaw wa antum. Andadaw wa antum. Okay, let's have the last example for this. Nasrum minallah. Nasrum minallah. Nasrum minallah. So we have the words nasrun and min. Nasrun and min. As you can see, nasr, it ends with tanween, dhammatain, nasrun, followed by the word min. Min. So nasrun min. Okay. Now we can see the meme is with shaddah in the mushaf. So it means that we have to merge it with the letter or the last letter of the word before it, and it is the word nasrun. So instead of saying nasrun min, we read nasrum, we merge it. Nasrum min Allah. Nasrum min Allah. Now, what if we see noon with or tanween, as we have discussed, it's technically the same with the noon with sukoon, but the letter that comes or before it is the letter or the harf ba. So what are we going to do with this? So this is another ruling, because if the noon sakin or tanween is preceded by ba, it becomes, or it must be pronounced as meme. It must be pronounced as meme. And in tajweed, this ruling is called al-iqlab. Al-iqlab. Now, let's have some examples so that it will be more clear to you. Now, let's have this example. Rasulun bima. Rasulun bima. Rasulun bima. So the ruling al-iqlab, iqlab actually means to change. Okay, so we are changing the noon, the sound of the noon sakin or the tanween to mim. So instead of saying rasulun bima, we say rasulun bima. Rasulun bima. Now another example, let's say we have anba'ahum. 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 Now as you can see, anba'ahum, if we're going to read it casually, or we say it casually, we say it anba'ahum. But since it is from the rulings of the tajweed or the recitation of the Quran or reading from the mushaf, we have to change the noon into mim. So we say, instead of anba'ahum, we say amba'ahum. Amba'ahum. Again, when you see a noon sakin, okay, or a tanween followed by ba, the ruling is that the sound of the noon sakin or the tanween, it changes into mim. So in this example, instead of saying anba'ahum, we say anba'ahum. Now let's have another example. Min ba'di. Min ba'di. Min ba'di. Now we have the words min and ba'dihi. So instead of saying min ba'dihi, we apply the rule iqlab. So instead of min ba'dihi, we say min ba'dihi. Min ba'dihi. Min ba'dihi. I have learned something new in this lesson, and inshallah it will help you reading the Quran right. And this is actually, inshallah, will be a good introduction for when you start learning the rules of tajweed. And until the next lesson, wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa akhir da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alamin.